Hi TikTok friends, welcome to the Sunday night edition of Mainstream Media Fails. Here you have what is really happening today in the world, as you can see on my screen. This is quite literally what is occurring in Rafah today. And also based on reports I've been reading, multiple casualties yesterday, and as you all know, it's been happening for over 220 days at this point. So I like to check my Google News feed to see how they like to report the news, and of course they failed. Let me show you some of those screenshots. The top news in my Google feed was this article by CNN. As you can see, the headline reads, "It's Not Real Strikes Camp in Rafah as pressure mounts over war in Gaza, live updates." First of all, they always call it a quote-unquote war, never a genocide, never a Holocaust, never an ethnic cleansing, never a massacre or slaughter or anything other than sanitized, whitewashed, politically correct corporate language. And here's a sampling of some other headlines from the past hour or so. Again, you can see they use the word unalive, that starts with a K. And then, of course, one of the big prominent factors that I'm seeing in these articles is talking about how they were coming after the H group because the H group sent rockets over to their side. So now they're somehow justified. And they're going to say that they got some of the H group guys and they're aware of civilians, but oopsies, I guess it's just part of war. Here's one from an Israeli leader, Naftali Bennett, from early this morning, like 7 a.m. it says here. And poor him, like so many others, he says, quote, "I'm with my family in our home's designated safe room this very moment." Well, isn't that nice, Naftali Bennett, that you get a designated safe room to hang out with your family while like nothing's going to happen to you as you, with your American-made weapons, are ethnically cleansing Palestinian babies? And oh, poor baby Naftali, you just heard 2 booms of rockets intercepted by an Iron Dome. Isn't that nice that the American taxpayers fund an Iron Dome to intercept homemade rockets from the Palestinians who you are literally slaughtering in an unprecedented ethnic cleansing that we are all watching live streamed as we speak? Just read this tweet. He continues, quote, "Imagine yourself in a shelter with your children waiting for rockets that are sent to unalive them." Naftali Bennett then says the H group will never stop its terror until we destroy it. And he signs off by saying, "We simply have no choice." Is that so, Naftali Bennett? I'm not even going to try to get inside your brain to interpret that bullshit right there. Let's continue with our review of the Google News selection of headlines. By the way, that Naftali Bennett tweet was included in the Google News as a highlighted tweet/news source. So I highlighted the Al Jazeera one, which has so far come the closest to reality. The highlighted piece where it says people were burned alive in attack. That's the closest I've seen any of these headlines come. They're giving numbers of casualties. They're saying that the tents were hit. The Guardian talks about that It's Not Real airstrikes kill unalive 35 after H group launches rockets. As I said, they are making this like a reciprocal thing. Like H group did this, so now we're going to go commit even bigger ethnic cleansing. Here's a few more headlines if you want to pause to read. And you can see, too, that these clips here are showing some of the videos that I watched and probably many of you have seen as well. Notice how consistently using the word K-I-L-L instead of, like, much more descriptive, accurate terms. Again, we see the word K-I-L-L, a very sanitized language. And this one's really funny. The second one, kind of near my face, at Gaza, quote, safe zone camp. How cute. How they call it an explosion. That's the part I think is just so ridiculous to call it an explosion. Are you kidding? And once again, we see Sky News talking about how this all occurred because the H group launched rockets. Of these selected headlines that were curated for me by Google, Daily Mail came the closest in accuracy by commenting the devastating airstrike on Rafah, and also mentioning that there were displaced people living. It gets cut off, so hopefully they say 10. The utter failure of mainstream media has emboldened me to take to Twitter and to TikTok with my face and my voice, because although I am not a professional journalist, like, it doesn't take much to do their job, because they are sucking at it so hard. I hope that you guys are spreading this information to the people that you know in your daily life. This is despicable. I am so tired and sick of seeing this news get whitewashed and watered down and just blown over.
مشاهدينا الكرام، في هذه المنطقة، في منطقة البلاكسات غرب مدينة رفح، وبالتحديد في حي تل السلطان، كما تلاحظون هنا هذه الأماكن اشتعلت فيها النيران، كما تلاحظون. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. وهذا هو المشهد من خلف مؤسسات الوكالة في حي تل السلطان. هذه المنطقة التي ادعت إسرائيل بأنها آمنة، حيث استهدفت طائراتها محرما للنازحين، يأوي عدد من المواطنين الذين تختلف جثمانهم تحت هذه النيران المشتعلة في هذا المكان. كما تلاحظون تجري أعمال بحث من قبل رجال الدفاع المدني، وأيضا تعمل على إخماد هذا الحريق الهائل الذي شب بهذا المخيم. كما تلاحظون هناك صعوبة في استخراج الجثامين واستخراج المواطنين من تحت هذه النيران بسبب كثافتها، وأيضا اشتعال النيران في هذا. هذه الصورة مشاهدينا الكرام، كما تلاحظون هذا المخيم، مخيم النازحين الذي استهدفته إسرائيل. هنا صورة انذار، هناك عدد من المواطنين تختلف جثامينهم تحت هذه النيران، كما تلاحظون في هذه الصور في هذا المكان.